of the man, well, one of the reasons is because of the man that Dash is about to speak to right now. It's Shazam.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. I'm once again joined by Shazam after an incredibly dominant 2-0 victory over NUTURN. And I'm curious about your thoughts coming into this matchup, particularly after having watched just 2 days ago, this being the team to take down the other North American squad in version 1. How you assessed coming into this matchup, in particular, leaving unbanned what is considered their best map in Bind.
Yeah, so we knew they were going to be a scary team to play against because they have a lot of set strats. We actually practiced with them. I think the first day we started practicing here in the quarantine, and they actually surprised us with playing really different from the other regions. Lots of set plays, lots of unique plays with their ultimates. Honestly, like I want to take some of their plays.
Okay.
Really creative, but we actually enjoy playing against these kind of teams more because I feel like with my preparation, it becomes really easy to me when you're aware of them to start reading like specific utility and what they're set up for and how to counter it. So like really solid game plan. Obviously, the guys came up clutch too. And yeah, I think it really came out in the prep for me, at least calling. So we were confident going in.
I mean, that said, you mentioned kind of their set plays and their compositions. They're vastly different from what we see in a lot of the other regions. I'm seeing Breach with double duelist and things like that. But therefore, it also in some ways feels a little sink or swim when those plays aren't working out. So, you know, pretty early on, both Bind and Haven, you guys kind of wrestled control. Did you feel like it was smooth sailing? You said, like, at that point, I can start reading the map and I know where to go and send my guys?
Yeah, I think early on we lost quite a few ecos on the defense side of Bind. Honestly, I think it was first one was like a little over rotation for me. Just like a bad rotate, so we just needed to like trust that like, you know, the other guys are gonna hold the site, which is fine. At least the game plan worked, like the gun rounds, you know. There were good adjustments. So when it came to Bind, like, you know, we switched up our ban because we knew like Bind, they're undefeated or something, and it's like a really good map for them. But I also know that means that, you know, they're running a bit of the older meta quote unquote comps. And so they're not going to change anything because it's been working for them for so long.
Right.
They dominated Sharks on it. So that's why I kind of like baited it. I knew they would pick Bind. And then I could just like create a game plan for it for sure. And their Ascent looked really good versus V1. So like the veto, I was really happy with the way it went.
Well, you know, speaking of which, you're referencing the role that you play on the team, which I think for many people in the community is such a big point of interest. Sentinel's the only squad here without a coach. We know that you fill, you know, a lot of that role, you know, as a coach, as a mentor, manager for the team, and then also the IGL, and still at times the top fragger. So I want to get a little bit more perspective of like, what is the day in the life of Shaz, you know, off of the stage itself in terms of prepping for these events and making sure Sentinels is set up for success?
Yeah, so we still don't have a coach. I mean, eventually I'd like to get one just to ease the workload. So the kind of like preparations and stuff is on me, you know. I mean, the thing is that as an IGL, like when I prep for these teams and I watch and I create game plans and notes and, you know, like we have them printed out and stuff, I also learn about the game. You know, I learn about how like other teams play, and that helps me like take creative things that I see from these other teams and like implement them in our own gameplay. So it's just fun. Like Valorant's such a fun game to play and watch and like be creative with. So like I honestly enjoy just like doing the prep and stuff. Sometimes the guys will sit with me and like I'll explain like it's easier in person when I'm like, you know, like look at this, they're gonna play here and do this. But we also like stick to the stuff that we know and like our defaults and our protocols. So it's like a healthy mixture of both. I think we found a good balance in preparation and like forcing our gameplay onto them.
Sweet. Now speaking back onto the series itself, again, NUTURN so far in this tournament has had kind of a trend of dropping the first map in a pretty one-sided fashion. There was 13-5 against Sharks, they lost. There was 13-3 against version 1 that they lost, and they were coming back in these situations. So you beat them 13-5 on Bind. I would imagine there's some confidence that's built just off of a dominant scoreline, but at the same time, were you trying to like couch expectations? Guys, look, this is a situation they've been in many times before, and they're perfectly capable of coming back from?
Yeah, I mean, it shows they have like a strong mental as a team. When they played V1 and, you know, lost on Haven and managed to like get these OT wins, I think they were down on like maybe even both the maps or something.
Yeah.
Like they definitely have a strong mental as a team. But the confidence going in is like Bind, like if we could crush them like that on their best map, then we feel really good, especially going into Haven where they had trouble. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. You targeted the second map was one they'd already struggled on. Two more questions for you. Again, back in that leadership position, I'm now thinking about the rest of the pieces that you have to work with. So I'm just kind of curious again, as you look at, you know, the different pieces of the puzzles that make up Sentinels. In particular, I'm thinking TENZ joining the organization as a leader. When you get pieces like that to work with, what does it do for you in terms of opening up strategies and the kind of confidence you can have in having certain guys make plays?
I mean, TENZ is such an amazing player. Like, he really surprised me when he stood in for us and how, like, well-rounded of player is. You know, people like compliment his mechanical skill, but like as a teammate, he's always open to criticism. He's always open to listening. Like, his communication's good. Honestly, I'm just like so impressed to be like, we're lucky to have gotten him. Outside of that, like, you know, sometimes he'll go for his crazier plays and I'll have to reel him back. Like, no, just do this, trust me. And then sometimes like, I'll be like, all right, go for it. Like, do the crazy play, and it works. Like, sometimes you have to let these players do the stuff that might seem a little bit more risky, because that's how you frustrate another team. Like, you get away with the crazy round you probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So
that mixture of experience and kind of a young, unbridled talent is so interesting to watch, kind of come into a confluence. But finally, you're at the top of the mountain now, and you're waiting for your opponent in the grand final. So looking down below you, you've got a few teams fighting to make it up there and challenge you overall, but you guys have looked, in some ways, untested so far with the dominance that you've displayed. What's your message for the teams below you looking to join you up there at the top?
Good luck. You're going to need it. I mean, it's a best of 5, and we kind of kept the bind hidden until now. So just, whoever we play, good luck.
All right, good luck. You're going to need it. Any idea who you're going to play?
I have no idea. I think all 3 of the teams are really strong. Honestly, I expect either Liquid or Fnatic. Both of them seem to have been getting their groove, and I respect both teams. So.
All right, well, 3 challengers left looking to fight against Sentinels in that grand final, who await them on Sunday. But Shahzam, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me today. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, from here, we're heading back to Golden Boy and the crew to close out the day.
Thank you so much, Dash, for that. And always a pleasure to hear from Shahzam. And Doug, you got to commend Shahzam's mentality as a player coach, honestly, because that's what he is for this team.